channel.
Hey, you know what time it is, No Press fam? Welcome everyone to another episode of The Beatdown, the segment and channel where two worlds collide. I am your host, Class. And as always, guys, if you guys enjoy our content, you know what you guys can do. You can share, you can like, or you can subscribe to our channel. When you guys subscribe to our channel, you know what you do. You guys are building our empire and allowing us to provide you guys with even much more greater content for you guys to enjoy. And on today's episode, entering the beatdown arena, we have two magical beings throwing it down. So I'll be starting things off by representing and talking about the brief origin story of Magik. Ilyana was born in Rasputina, was a mutant who possessed a unique power allowing her to travel into other dimensions, and was little sister to, I'm hopeful I'm saying this right, Peter, aka Colossus. Then one day, a demon named Belasco kidnaps her by taking her to his dimension, which happens to be a demonic realm. He did this so he could train her and use her later. Keep in mind, when she gets kidnapped, she was a child. So 7 years go by, she eventually grows in her powers, so much so that she eventually creates a sword powerful enough to take on Belasco and escape the dimension, eventually becoming a member of the New Mutants. Alright, now let's get into the bath, shall we? Alright, here are some of the feats. Clashed with Mojo, Magus, Demon Bear, Shadow King, Sim, and the White Queen. Can draw energy from Limbo. Emma Frost claims Magik is carrying a semi-demonic energy inside of her. Queen of Limbo, control over demons, was trained by Doctor Strange, teleported a giant space station, learned how to enhance her magic by training with Storm in astral projectual form. Learned magic from Doctor Strange himself, teleported away from Thor's hammer, cast translation spells, shackled Enchantress in Limbo. There's DC and a Marvel Enchantress. They have their Marvel Enchantress, who's I think Asgardian. Using the Limbo realm, she is able to stop time and come up with ways to defeat her enemies and go back to the present day like nothing happened. She stopped the connection of Colossus and Sidorak by disconnecting them. So the Colossus Juggernaut, she separated the gemstone from Colossus. And he was unstoppable. He was claimed unstoppable at one point. Was trained by Kitty Pryde, defeated New Mutants to get her sword back. A candidate for Sorcerer Supreme, she can transform her body into living energy, summons demons from other dimensions in a jam, able to block Professor Xavier's telepathy. She defeated Juggernaut by reaching to his chest and pulling out the gem of Sidorak and crushed it in front of him. Yeah, reaction time to 1/1,000,000th of a second, powered up by 1/5 of the Phoenix Force, brought a piece of Limbo on Earth while using the Phoenix Force, defeated Rogue and Captain Marvel at once, cut into Red Hulk's skin, took a punch from the Thing, able to make a prison that targets heroes' nightmares. In Phoenix form, she was able to be shattered into pieces by Thor, have those pieces rain down on him, piercing his body, and then put those pieces back together to form herself again, and then completely beat the snot out of Thor after that. She made Dormammu flee because of how his plans of controlling her backfired. Were backfiring, able to absorb the entirety of Limbo. She talked to the universe. Yeah, she defeated Doctor Strange. Shout out to all my content supporters. Not working together, but we like to give credit where credit is due. Ivan the Unstoppable for all the knowledge of comic feats. Watch Mojo for origins and for all the background videos. Comic Historian, Comics Explained, and Key Issues. Go ahead and check them out and tap into the world of comics by supporting other creators. Link to channels will be in the description below. Alright, let's talk about the end game, how Magik would defeat Enchantress. So let's make the arguments. For starters, the teleportation is going to keep her from being able to get actually attacked by any direct hits from Enchantress, no matter what kind of pondering weapon she decides to throw at her. Magik is pretty damn fast. She's able to react in 1 millionth of a second, and her teleportation is phenomenally supersonic speed, or faster than the speed of light. So when she jumps into that teleportation, bam, she is good to go. She'll be able to keep dodging those moments. Another thing is close-up fight. She has a better shot. Well, let's get back to the teleportation. Now, if she stays too long into obviously using that ability and taking that character, let's say taking Enchantress on a ride to teleportation left and right all over the place, it would drain her and eventually she would lose control. Now, at some point, maybe she lose so much control of the capabilities that she might wind up in the Big Bang Theory. Now, she could probably teleport herself out of that moment at that instance, but Enchantress most likely might not have that chance to react as fast as Magik could. Now, let's talk about close range fight. Close up, Magik's got a pretty good handle on that too. Now you might think, well, because Enchantress has like 1,000,000 powers and her powers are like Omega level in their own realm, in DC's realm. The thing about it is that Magik has this soul sword is also based on Magik as well, and it is taking characters with similarity powers like up there, like Enchantress. So I do believe Magik could use the Soul Sword to actually put the hurt on Enchantress, or maybe even eliminate Enchantress with the Soul Sword, since it has that kind of magic capabilities. A couple of other arguments is that Magik has several options to go on. She has defense-wise, she's got a good thing going for her. I mean, that shield is also pretty damn strong, considering the fact that it has taken on some pretty cosmic level threats when it comes to being attacked. And so her force fields are pretty damn strong. Another thing is that she can also summon from these teleportations or these dimensions demons. So she has the ability to control demons, which means likely chance that she might be able to actually take on and call any of those demons on at a moment's notice to help her slow things down with Enchantress. Now, Enchantress is powerful and strong, but it would take some time to eliminate certain threats like that, getting it out of her way during a fight. Another thing is I will have to mention is the sword. Again, we have to talk about it because the sword, again, maybe if it separates, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, in the comics, if you haven't read it, but Enchantress goes ballistic, separated from June Moon. That's true. Like once they're separated, it's like a whole bigger threat. But here's the theory. What if Magik is capable of using her magic capabilities of putting maybe, I don't know, one part, separate June Moon and separate Enchantress into like a pocket mirror or a dimension where she can trap her? I think Magik does have those capabilities since she's able to control certain realms. And if she happens to throw Enchantress into her realm, I think it's going to be game over. Now, Enchantress is very powerful, but yeah, Magik is powerful in this realm. She is the queen of limbo. So let's say theoretically if she decides to throw her in a mirror and trap her in that, or she decides to take her into that dimension, either way, even if she, let's say June Moon is with Enchantress, if June Moon and Enchantress are together and they're still combined and she throws her into that dimension, that limbo dimension, it's not really going to matter because Magik will be able to take the realm and put it in her favor. She's been managing that place for quite some time, so Enchantress, it would take her time to be able to kind of conquer this quest, or conquer the area or the realm. So for Magik, she's already feeling pretty home in it, so even if June Moon and Enchantress were together, it wouldn't make a difference. Even separated, and Enchantress still has all that power and all that might in her system. You got to remember, Magik has put down characters like Dormammu. Now, people will say, well, she didn't really put down Dormammu. If you remember some point in the comics, she actually makes Dormammu want to bow down and actually plead for mercy because she's about to like eliminate him. And she, at one point in the scene, she's holding onto the sword and about to take him out. Now, we don't get to see if she really does do it, but it already kind of instigates or insinuates that it did happen. So if Magik was able to take on something so powerful like that, like Dormammu, I do believe she could take out Enchantress in her own realm, which happens to be Limbo. I want to apologize for the sudden burst out of nowhere of sound. My little dog woke up and she kind of decided to wake up with a little bit of noise. But let's continue on. My final point for Magik in this end game would be this, is that let's say, okay, so we already completely made all the real strong arguments. in her own realm, Limbo, she is the queen. She might be able to separate, or even together she'd be able to defeat Enchantress. I believe so. Or she might even give her a run for her money. Another thing is her defense is phenomenal. She can teleport and dodge certain situations. Her force field is pretty strong, and she can slow Enchantress down with a few demons of her own. But the last point I'll make is, let's say they're going in a fight back and forth, and some of these tricks aren't really working, and Magik is feeling a little like, okay, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed here, and this fight's getting a little out of hand, and I can't seem to get control of the situation. She could at some point stop and go into the Limbo realm. Now, in the Limbo realm is a little different from reality realm, or the regular realm we live in, because time slows down. Matter of fact, it doesn't even move. Limbo, she can stay there and figure out what to do for as long as she needs to. She can be gone for a certain amount of time and then come back with her A game. So it won't, for Enchantress, it's not the same case. Now, Enchantress has done some time controlling manipulations, but nothing compared to what Magik has done. In one point in the comics, Magik is sitting in a realm with another character, I believe, and they're having a conversation of what to talk about, history and all that stuff, but they have the time to talk about it. They're like, oh, she tells her like, yeah, time here is like pretty still. We don't have to worry about whether or not we're going to get older or anything. We'll be back where we are right then and there. Nothing will change. Time might have like moved forward for us here, but it doesn't where we're at in reality. So she could take the time she needs there to figure out a strategy, come up with a magic, maybe figure out another magical powerful element or relic or some other character or demon or backup to help her to take down Enchantress and claim victory no matter what. Magik just seems to have a lot going in her favor to win the W on this one. And on this side, I will be representing DC Comics' own Suicide Squad's own Enchantress. Not to get confused with Marvel's Enchantress. Yes, they do have their own Enchantress. Wild. Alright, so let's get into the brief origin story. June Moon was just a typical average woman who was going to school. You know, she gets invited to a party, a costume party. So she's like, alright, I'll go to this costume party. She goes to this costume party. It's this really big, creepy looking mansion. As always, you know where this is going. She goes into this mansion. She finds a secret little. She wanders around. She finds a little secret passageway, and in the secret passageway, there are all these little mystical artifacts. And amongst those mystical artifacts, there's this giant stone head, and its name is Zamor. It starts speaking to her telepathically. She starts freaking out for a moment, and this thing is apparently a demon, but a good demon. I don't know how that works. So Zamor decides to tell her, hey, your friends in this party are all in danger because there's some kind of bad juju about to go down, and yeah, you may want to save them. So he offers her powers by offering to chant her name, Enchantress, to get the powers of Enchantress, and sure enough, she chants the name, gets the powers, saves everybody from the mansion, and that is the brief origin story. Alright, let's get into the bath, shall we? Alright guys, and here are some of the feats from Enchantress. She knocked out Superman. Yeah, that's an ultimate flex right there. Blast the head off a giant pumpkin monster. Removed dead man out of people's bodies. Compared to Zatanna, even able to overpower her possibly. Able to stop Superman's heat blast with her own force fields, her own magic. Blast massive holes. Capable of destroying the world. Took out Zod. She cored out a section of space-time in order to rescue people. She can destroy the work of ages. To keep someone alive, she had to stay awake for 72 hours while using other little spells to keep herself going. An opponent was keeping himself in a magic circle, and she just used a giant magic glass lid to seal him in his own circle without oxygen to breathe in. She can create a cure to magical viruses. Or she can create viruses out of magic. Takes hits from Zod. She's able to sense other magical weapons like Katana's sword. Formed giant teeth avatar to take on Wonder Woman, Superman, and Cyborg, and actually put the hurting on them. She used magic to make books rain down on people. Had a cow give birth to a meat slicer. Made kids take out adults. Yeah, she was able to use magic to do some chaotic stuff. Spread demonic virus to tech stuff. Froze Killer Croc off his tracks. Alright, so let's get into the end game, how Enchantress would defeat Magik. So let's start off with the fact that she's aware of other magical weapons that exist. It's like katana sword, which means that when Magik comes around with her armor or her sword, she is going to be aware of what kind of material, what kind of magic she's dealing with, and be able to sense what she can do to counteract those powers. Since Enchantress is pretty damn powerful. Now, why would I say that? Because there is a claim that she is so powerful. She could take out the whole world, or she can take over the world with her power. Now, if she is capable of doing that, that says a lot. I mean, you got to think about what kind of situation we'd be in if Enchantress decided to take over the world. I mean, we're talking nuke weapons can't do anything to her. We're talking all our heavy, massive weapons. We're talking military. We're talking all this. And they're also, if they're saying that she can take over the world, that means she can also defeat she can defeat a lot of superheroes. I mean, a lot of them. Because if you could say that she can take over the world, that means that she has to get through a lot of other superheroes to do that, like Green Lantern and stuff. And if they're saying that she's able to take over the world, that means she also can take on the superheroes and defeat them, and then take the world for her own. That is a threat you don't want to mess with. And I don't believe Magik is there in her realm. I do believe Enchantress is probably top dog in the Magic world compared to Magik in this situation. A couple other things is the Enchantress is very tricky. She's kind of like Loki in their realm, because she likes to use like holograms or, you know, copycats or duplicates of herself in order to let enemies believe that, or her opponents believe that she's fighting them. But then when she gets taken out, then she kind of surprises them out of nowhere. So I do believe she could do the same thing to Magik. Magik isn't like cosmic awareness, I believe. If she was in her own dimension, this would be a situation or a problem for Enchantress. But if she's in the reality of our world, I do believe Enchantress could psych her out with that duplicate or whatever it is, or hologram or whatever, and have Magik believe she's fighting her, and then just kind of take her from behind and stab her through and through. Now, another thing is that Magik could separate June Moon and Enchantress, but if she separates them in the real world, where our world, it's over. Like, I do believe maybe she has a fighting chance in Limbo, but at the same time, Enchantress alone separated is a very top tier level threat. I mean, if she can take on Wonder Woman, Superman, and Cyborg, and those characters are like, you got the man who can literally break dimensions or break through like barriers, and you got Wonder Woman, who is considered the Amazonian warrior, she's half god or something like that, and you got a cybernetic character that has its own mother box inside of him, and they still can't put Enchantress down. Yeah, it would be hard to say that Magik would be able to handle her on her own and be able to handle the big top dog separated from June Moon's body. Let's not get that twisted, right? Okay, two other points I will make is that if, let's say, Enchantress does go into Magik's realm in Limbo, well, Magik did get a chance to rule it and be able to tame it and all that other good stuff, but that's because she's never had someone so incredibly threatening in her realm who could also absorb and probably take over that Magic realm herself. And thus Enchantress is that incredible threat that might be the potential that could put Magik in her place when it comes to her own Limbo dimension. She might be able to rule it, even though she might not know it that well. Magik is magic, and she is also kind of chaotic magic in herself. So if she goes into a realm where there's more of all that darkness around, it's probably going to favor Enchantress, or she's going to live and savor that more than she's going to be afraid of it, considering she's all powerful and very damn strong. Yes, Dormammu is strong, but Enchantress is also right around that ballpark, and Dormammu almost defeated Magik, so Enchantress, I could say, same rules apply. And yes, the last point was Technovirus, or Magic Spell Virus, either way. She's capable of making magic spells and putting viruses in them, or she's able to create a virus into technology. So in the real world, she could scare Magik with all the technology being possessed by her magic virus. Enchantress could do that and put Magik to work. Consider Magik does have armor, but I mean, let's say they're both in the same realm. We're talking about the realm where technology that has Wakandian vibranium. We're talking about the realm where they have adamantium technology weaponry around in existence. So if tech is being virused and compromised or tainted, it could be used against Enchantress favor and against Magik in this sort of way. And another thing is that if she can probably do a virus on the Magik spell, that might mean also that she can do a virus in the spell whatever Magik decides to throw. Even that soul sword, she could probably use put a virus in that, maybe counteracting Magik's sword, or maybe shutting it down, or maybe getting it to go against its own master. There is all this potential when it comes to a virus, because it's limited. I mean, there's a number of things that it could do or have to affect a certain character, and especially since not a lot of characters can do a virus in Magik form or in tech form. So yeah, with all of this Enchantress Armory, I'm gonna give this one to her, claiming the W. But as always, no press fam, it's not up to me, it's up to you guys. So if you liked either one of my arguments, you know what you can do. You can hashtag Magik, or you can hashtag Enchantress. And as always, no press fam, we really appreciate you guys. Catch you guys later. Keeping it 300 subs. Peace.